I want to introduce to you our chairperson, Lyndah Drum. Will you come on up, Lyndah? Lyndah Drum is another person. I talked about the... Lyndah's been the chairperson of New Life Behavior for a long time. She's a person that brought me on board, and she's a person that always takes my calls. She's like HM. She also works with me and helps me, and we talk. I talk about many things. I talk to Lyndah probably 2 or 3 times a week anyway. She empowers you to do a job, but she also is there for anything you may want advice on. So Lyndah's going to talk to you about our Women of Worth Worldwide program. Thank you, Lyndah.
That's a little tall. I know that NLBI has trainers who are smart and capable. I've worked with them long enough to know this. But I know this also because they married smart and capable women. And these women have stepped up to be partners in ministry with their husbands. And Maximilia, who is Duncan's wife, is one of the best. And I know that women are communicators and networkers. And so these 14 women who are our trainers in New Life Behavior have amassed a group of women around them to help them teach that are also wonderful. They're school teachers who are able to relate to kids on any level. And they help teach large groups of, we have one trainer that teaches maybe 250 to 300 kids at a time in these massive, large high schools. And she takes other teachers along with her to help her do it. And then some of these trainers have women as friends that they've brought on board who speak 5 languages. And so when they go into a village that has a language that they don't understand, they have somebody who can translate everything they say for them. Therefore, their teams grow large. But they work together to do a great job. And the amazing thing to me is all of these women who teach have 3 to 6 children of their own at home. And I've never been on a trip to do conferences and seminars with these women that one of them isn't traveling and bumping along in a car for hours with a 6-month-old that they're nursing and changing and trying to keep happy on the trip. That says to me that these women have a passion and a heart for ministry that surmounts all of the things that are irritating to us and keep us giving excuses to not do it. And they are motivated and dedicated. And the women in the regions where we go teach are hungry for the knowledge of the Lord. And not only for that, but for anything that these trainers have to share. Some want to become trainers themselves because they don't have husbands, but they still want to teach other women about Jesus. But they don't have resources to do it either. So NLB has a program to help, and they're providing sewing machines and beads and other things that where they can make jewelry and sell it, or make school uniforms and sell those, so that they can sell locally and earn an income. Last year, I traveled with a friend to Uganda, where Duncan and Maximilia took me to churches where they taught NLBI. And again, very inspiring to watch these women who work in teams to document all 180 women that are there and get every single one of them's name and give them a certificate at the end of it. And then this last year, 2 friends and I traveled to Kenya. And we went to a place in Kenya called Turkana. It's an area that's very arid and dry. It's definitely a desert. And the place that we went to is called Kakuma. And it is known by a lot of people to be the largest refugee camp in the world. It has 400,000 people that live there, and it's about the land size of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's very large. And this year, one of our trainers named Sarah Armani took us there to these two churches that had just been established, and these women only heard about God and Jesus 4 months before we got there. They are in a new section of the refugee camp for people from South Sudan. And many of these women that are in these two churches were widows because their husbands had been fighting in the war in South Sudan and been killed. So they brought their children to this refugee camp to try to have a safer, better existence. And it's a deserted area that's very difficult to get to, and the average temperature is about 104 degrees every day, almost year-round. And they don't have air conditioners that work. They have some, but we discovered none of them worked. So it's a difficult life for people there, but they love the Lord, and they are coming. One church had 55 women and 2 men, and the other church had 85 women and 3 men. And men, of course, are the preachers in that church. But the women we would teach for an hour, and then they would ask questions about how on earth God could be concerned about their life and how could he change anything in their life. And so it was a great experience for there because they are hungry for the Word of God. And a lot of women there were sitting on the ground, and I said, why is everybody sitting on the ground, and they said, well, because they're too old to carry their chairs. They carry their chairs 1.5 miles to come to church, to sit, every Sunday that they come. And so these are people who definitely want to be there. And because these women are left in life without resources, we established a sewing school for them. The preacher gave up half of his house to house these and watch after them and keep them safe. And we're currently working on a business plan for these women in this area so they can have time to, after they've learned to sew, to set up their own business. And we have some people working on that right now to help them do it. And then next we went to see a trainer that is named Felix and his wife Rachel. And Rachel teaches lots of kids in school, and Felix teaches everywhere. And at this, we went to a school in a town called Oyugas and saw tons of kids that were about to graduate. And these were kids that were the school had written off. They thought these kids will never make it. So we're just going to quit teaching them. And Felix and Rachel went in and said, we don't give up on anybody. Give us those kids, we'll teach them. And so they gathered a group of people and started teaching them. And I was there to get to see that they had all passed the national exam and they were all going to get to graduate. And along the way, they taught them New Life behavior. So many of those kids said that they would leave and teach New Life behavior also. So at the end, we've probably gone through it and I haven't seen it, but there were some kids in costumes. Yeah, and those were some of the kids that had written a song for us and in their kind of native costumes performed for us. So we had a good year this year. And every year we go to see a program that's solely dedicated to women. And last year when I went to Uganda with Duncan, Belinda Smith went with me. So she can tell you that these are really important conferences for women because women are not always appreciated in these countries. And we want them to know that they are of value. And that's what the WOW conference does. Thank you.